may not be in the same.
Oh.
This is an experiment.
It's a day by, okay.
So we're gonna mix it around. So
Okay.
no worries.
I thought it was like.
And I redid it based on who was out, so the people are not in the seating plan right now. Yes.
I'll find it.
Next week. Yeah. All right. Let's get started. Let's get started with our warm up, and I'll sign folks as we come. So on our journey with some vocal technique stuff, just to recap, I'm gonna recap hopefully quickly each week. So we talked about preparing our body to sing, making space, particularly in our torso, and getting ourselves a good balance, right? So let's take a few moments to do that. We're going to stretch up and really try to lengthen our torso, stretching up as much as you can. Feeling that stretching along the sides, you feel that lengthening. All right? And just give it a good stretch, wiggle your fingers, and let your hands come down. And then the other way we can make some space is to open up this way, right? So let's do some shoulder rolls. I always have a hard time saying it. Shoulder rolls. And remember, this is not an aerobic activity. This is a stretching. So you really want to make as big of a circle as you can, because you're really trying to stretch that out. Deborah, you're going to be right over here. Next to Stephanie. All right. So really kind of feeling that expansion, especially across the chest here. And let's go the other way, just to kind of stretch that out a little differently. All right. And lastly, let's just hunch up our shoulders like this, and then relax. And then one more time, hunching up, and relax. So you feel a little bit more, hopefully a little bit more space in your whole torso. Let's just take a very quick moment to center ourselves over your 2 feet, nice, comfortable width apart. I find that these tiles on the floor are really great for that. You can kind of space it out. All right, and then making sure that your hips are centered over your feet, knees aren't locked. So you're nice and balanced. The next thing that we want to think about after we've got our body kind of ready and kind of the space prepared is thinking about our breath. So let's just take a moment to feel that breath in our body. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to just very slowly inhale through your nose, and then we're just going to slowly exhale through your mouth. It shouldn't make any sound, although you're exhaling through your mouth. We're not going to do or anything like that, right? Just letting the air come out. So here we go, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Just for fun, just put your hand just lightly, just below your rib cage, and see if you can feel that motion as we breathe in and as we breathe out. You should feel a gentle motion sort of going, your hand going gently out when you breathe in, and then you feel that kind of compression, if you will, as we breathe out rather. All right, taking the same idea, but kind of putting it a little bit closer to something that seems musical. We're going to take a nice deep breath, but we're only going to take 2 beats to do that. And then we're just going to pulse out 4 counts. Shh, shh, okay? 4 counts on that. Breathing 1, 2, and shh, 2, 3, 4. That's it. See if you can expend all that air that you quickly breathed in. See if you can get rid of all of that just in those 4 counts. It's a little different than sometimes we try to really stretch that out, but this time we're gonna use up all that breath right away. Okay? Breathing in 1, 2, and 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's add a little bit of pitch to that. If we can have G above middle C. So we're just gonna breathe in, and we're gonna ha, 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 instead of the sh, okay? Breathing 1, 2, ha, 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 ha. Good, so can you really use that H to get, like we did did with the that really had a lot of pulse to it, right? So same thing as that, but using the H to then kind of start the sound. Same thing again. Okay, let's get it. Do G. 1, 2. Ho, 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 ho. You should really feel that. Let's do it one last time, and then put your hand here again if you didn't still have it there. Ready? Breathing 1, 2, and ho, 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 ho. Really feel that, especially on the H. That really gives us that attack there. All right. Then we talked about, once we kind of did some things with breath, then we talked about kind of resonating space and actually making some sound. So let's play with that for just a moment. And we're just going to, with a very open hum, so lots of space inside our mouth, our lips just barely touching. We're just going to go up, let's have a C major. So we're just going to do. Now I did it not with a lot of space so you could hear me, but I want you to have much more space inside your mouth than I just did, okay? Breathing 1, 2. And let's go up a half step. And breath. Just feeling that start to buzz, and last one. Let's go back down to C. Last time we talked about vowels we talked about tall vowels and vowels that were kind of on the end of the spectrum that had a lot of openness to them, right? Let's just remind ourselves really quickly. We'll go back down to C. We'll do that same exercise we just did on a hum, but this time we'll do on mo, 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 which is one of those tall vowels. And great. So we talked last week. We worked a lot with those tall vowels. Today we're going to talk about the other end of the spectrum and talking about some of the brighter vowels. So let's just take a minute to think about who remembers from last week, what is at the far end of the spectrum of bright vowels? E, right? So that's the one, and you'll notice I oftentimes say to the altos especially, when we get down into the lower range, we're going to add some brightness, right, so that cuts through. So let's work with that just a little bit. Let's have F sharp major. We're going to do. So ni on the first part, and then nya, nya. So it's got a little bit of nya. All right, ready, and. Let's listen to that. Do you hear that the pitch is sort of sagging as we move from note to note? So let's use that brightness to kind of lift the pitch. And. That was much better. Yeah, so, and even though we're doing nya, which opens to I want you to stick more with the brighter. Nya, almost like nya, 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 like that a little bit, okay? Ready, and. That's it. Send it right here. So just for a moment, where do you feel that sound coming? Where do you feel it in your face? In your nose, right? Do you feel it a little bit in your cheekbones? Yeah. So that is sometimes called the mask. Maybe if you've taken voice lessons, you might have heard of that. So that's talking about the part of our resonating space that's right here. So when we do those tall vowels, we're using resonating space that's more back here, right? So, but we also have this resonating space at the front, and we can use all of those. Next week, we're going to talk about how we blend those. Because you might think, why in the world would we ever want that sound that we just made? And we probably wouldn't unless it was a caricature. But we can use elements of that for things like pitch and especially in lower things, lower parts. Let's just do one more just to kind of confirm where we feel that. So I want, as we do it this time, really pay attention to where you feel that. Good, and I look around, I see some of your faces. At first, the first couple ones I saw, I saw a little bit of that, right? But now I'm seeing, and that's what I want to see, right? I'm changing the shape of our lips to do that. All right, let's move on from that. Let's come back down to C. And we're going to take, we were at C. What do you know? Now you know I don't have perfect so now we're going to kind of take some of all the spectrum of vowels and we'll do mi, me, ma, mo, mu. You won't breathe like I just did because I was catching my breath. Ready? Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Breath. Don't forget to breathe. When we started off down low, it was very easy to do that me more bright. But what are we changing? We're automatically, almost instinctively, we're changing that vowel just a little bit as we get into a higher range. So we'll pay attention as we get a little higher, how we have to change those vowels a little bit in order to make them speak. Let's keep going. Breath and. Mi, me, ma, mo, mu. It might go too far back, and sometimes, especially if we're up higher in our range, we have to kind of shift it closer to an ah, right? So that's one always, that's a tricky vowel. We'll find that we have to be careful with that. All right, lastly, let's just go back to our, let's go back down to, let's go to D, just to be different. And would you, I love to sing. And the reason I wanted to do that, we do that one all the time, but if you think about it, what do we have? We have tall vowels on the top note, and as we get lower, what happens? We bring that brighter when we come back down. So even though it's a familiar warm-up that we do all the time, let's think about it in maybe a little different way than we do. All right. And I love to sing, 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 I love to sing. Sopranos. I love to sing, I love to sing. Sopranos. I love to sing. Good. Nice job kind of making that shift back to a brighter sound as you come down. All right, very good. Have a seat and let's take out wanting memories. Everybody is now in the right place, yeah? I may have a different seating thing next week. We'll see. We're going to play around with it. The idea is to kind of see how sitting next to somebody that maybe you don't usually sit next to, sitting in a part of the room you don't usually sit, see how that changes how you react to the music, how you kind of how you hear it, what other voices you hear. All right, wanting memories. Let's take a. I think we have gone up as far as. Oh, we got pretty far in this. We've gone up as far as like maybe page 15-ish. I don't have. Oh yes, I do. So just a reminder, who is doing the shakas when we get there? Are you guys anywhere close to? Oh yeah, you guys are close to each other. Great. All right, Maddie's not here tonight, so. All right. So just a reminder about that when you come to it on page 7. All right, let's see how well we remember this. Now, alto 2s, you've got to listen across the room because you're not all together. You're together with a couple people, but not all together in a group. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. You used to rock me in the break of your arms. You said you hold me till the days of life were gone. You said you comfort me in times like these, and now I need you, and now I need you, and you so I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Since you've gone and left me, there's been so little beauty that I know I sight clearly through your eyes. Now your world outside is such a cold and bitter place. Here inside I have feelings that fill my soul. And when I try to hear your voice above the storms of life, then I remember all the things that I was told. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yeah. Watch that. It comes in quicker than you think. Yeah, we were going pretty well. So always, when those shakas come in, lots of SH, right? It's just the two of you, right? Yeah. Okay.
You want the actual word for more of a shaker sound, shaker.
Shaka.
So you want shaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to?
I was going, like I was trying
Yeah,
to.
no, do shaka. You need the vowel for the note to have that. Good. We're just to the place where the rhythm gets a little bit funky. So let's just speak. Actually, everybody, even if you're a dum or a shaka person, let's just speak right at measure 48. So think is what beat? 3, right? So that means you don't stay on eyes as long as you think. See what I did there? Here we go. 1, 2. I think on the things that made me feel so wonderful when I was young. I think on the things that most of the group going on ending the last word on the second beat, except this first sopranos usually come in on the eighth note there. So we really want to hear both of those things. Great, good. That was a tricky rhythm, but you remembered it well from the last time we sang this. Let's back up. Where's a good place? Let's go all the way back to page 11, just so we can kind of get everybody in there. So starting from pick up to 41. 1, 2, 3. The 3 above me dance, that's the part, it doesn't feel like it should be on the beat, but it is, right? Let's just speak that rhythm right there, everybody who has that. So that's the soprano 1s and 2s and alto 1s, right on, I think on the things, measure 50. 1, 2. I think on the things that made me laugh, made me dance, made me sing. So if you sort of say it wrong, like the way we wouldn't speak it, right? Made me laugh, made me dance, right? Then you'll have the right rhythm, and then we can kind of adjust how the stress of it once it's more familiar. Yes.
In measure 48,
Mm-hmm.
the first sopranos, every other time we've done it, we've for own eyes, we've stayed on a G, and here we go down to an F. Very briefly before we jump up to the E, and I am not getting that at all.
No, stay on the G. I think that's a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, it is in the piano, isn't it?
There's other root variations on this page. I don't know, some ways these 3 bars change the entire pattern of the piece before this. And in 46, it does a different variation. To teach me. So I guess this page is
Let's do just that soprano 1 part. Let's go a little bit before that. Let's go all the way back to first sopranos, all the way back to Yes, I Am Sitting Here on the bottom of 12. 2 and 3.
Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty.
Yeah. So that was the first one on Teach Me. Did you hear that? Yeah. So careful there. One more time. 2 and 3.
Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes.
Yeah. That just doesn't sound right. But it is in the piano. Of course, they could have just made the piano part from the wrong part in the voice.
It's the same in the alto 1 line. We go to the D on that teach instead of always going to the E flat. In that same part.
That's second. Yeah, thank you.
You're talking about measure 42?
Right now.
46.
2 of 46.
Oh yeah, that Teach Me. Mm-hmm. Well, if all the notes are changed, I mean, to me that makes it seem like that's what she wanted. It's just the one place where it seems like is she wanting a dissonance or not? I don't know the answer to that. Let's go with it as it's written, for lack of evidence to the contrary, and then we'll see for it. Yeah, let's go back. Everybody, not the shakas and not the dum-dums. Let's go all the way back. I know, it makes it sound like I'm calling you dum-dums. That's why I'm saying dum-dums. All right, so all the melody parts on Yes, I Am Sitting Here, back to pick up to 41. 1, 2, 2, 3.
Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting
Watch here.
memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. To think of the things that made me feel small.
Yeah, let's do that again from I think on. Almost. 1, 2.
I think of the things that made me feel so wonderful when I was young. I think of the things that made me laugh, made me dance, made me sing. I think of the things that made me grow to believe all right. Think of these things.
And so forth. Yeah, good. We're still a little rusty on the rhythm, but it's coming. Just got to keep practicing it. I sang this many years ago in an SATB chorus, and I found myself like on the bus just going, I think on the things, and just singing it and just speaking that rhythm until I could get it. I saw a hand over there and then a hand over there.
I just wanted to say the rhythm itself is not the problem for me. It's when I'm going to the next note, to like the lower note. That is not as intuitive as it is with all the other ones. And that kind of mixes me up a little bit.
Okay. So when you mean when you're going to another note, you mean
When I'm going from, what is it, an E to a C.
so just getting that shift of note?
At the correct time.
Oh, okay. Well, that is kind of rhythm, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Well, we'll think on that for a second. And Angela, the same question?
I was just gonna say, like, look at where, because I had to like put boxes around the notes that
Yeah.
are the same to see where I changed. So I was gonna say very similar.
Yeah. And in another piece that we're going to do later on in this rehearsal, I'm going to have you all mark places where you've got this ongoing pattern, but it changes. So this is another place where it's good to write an asterisk or eyeglasses or whatever is going to catch your attention so that you go, oh yeah, this is different. This is different note pattern or it's different rhythm. In this case, I don't think it's different rhythm. It's mostly just the notes that are going. All right. As soon as the bell stops, as long as we're sort of stopped in this little section here, the melody voices, look on page 12, and we have this a number of places in this piece. When we have to teach me to see the beauty in the world, can we just do just a little bit of expansion on that? So, to teach me to see the beauty, just a little bit of extra on that beauty. All right, let's go back. And the other thing, kind of, that's part of it. But the other thing is, I'm hoping that once we get a little bit more comfortable with this rhythm, that we can be just a little bit more rhythmic with it. Right now, it's very melodic, and the harmony is very nice. But it needs to just have a little bit more of that dee dee da dee 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 da dee dee dee, like just a little bit more rhythm to it. Let's all go back. Let's add back in all the shakas and the doom doom. Back to the same place at the bottom of 11. Pick up to 41. 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the
You have it there again.
world through my own eyes. Think of the things that made me feel so wonderful when I was young. I think of the things that made me laugh, made me dance, made me sing. I think of the things that made me grow to believe
Yeah, good. I'd love to just see what this sounds like if we take the piano out, just a little bit, just because the piano is artificially doing that rhythm for us, and so we're not having to do that. Let's do that. This whole section one more time. I promise we are going to get past this section. And I almost want to have you do it without the words, but I'm afraid that that's going to make it harder to do the rhythm. But I want you to pretend, as we do the words, that you're doing T, 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 so that we're almost like we have T's on everything. All right? I want you to pretend that. Okay, here we go. We're starting right on the downbeat of 40, so give our alto twos a running start. 3, 4. Doom, doom, doom.
Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I think all the things that made me feel so wonderful when I was young. I think all the things that made me laugh, made me dance, made me sing. I think all the things that made me grow into a people of pride. Think on these things, for they are true.
Yeah, and on those truths, those T's really do have to be there. That's what's going to give us that kind of juxtaposition of those two words. All right. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if anyone else needs this, but can the first sopranos just hear like the last I think on the things, because we're all moving all over the place. We're not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yes, we can, but next time.
Okay.
I want to move on a little
Okay.
bit to some other sections. But I'm not satisfied with the way that was. So just be assured. I know that we are still struggling a little bit with that, but I still want to move past it. So let's jump ahead to actually way ahead. So would you jump ahead with me to page 17? Because the reason why I wanted to kind of move ahead is we're gonna have a little different voicing here when we get to page 17. And here's, I thought I assigned this, but I guess I didn't. Oh, I didn't on the other piece. We need to split the alto ones in two, because if you count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. We only have 4 parts, so I'm going to split the alto twos into 2 parts because you're the biggest section. So here's how we're going to do that. And look with me at measure 62. So this is just after the shaka people stop doing their shakas. All right?
Sorry, are you splitting the ones or the twos?
The alto ones.
Oh.
Did I say twos?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought I said
Ones
alto
and
ones
twos.
into 2 parts.
No?
No?
And then you said twos.
Okay, sorry.
That's why we asked.
My bad. No, I'm not splitting the alto twos. You are just singing that doom 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 the whole way through. Sorry. All right. So it's weirdly just like how the soprano ones are sort of flipped. This is also going to be a little bit weird. So at 62, half of the alto ones are going to jump up to what was the soprano 2 part,
Which is
the very top line. Okay? I will give you the split in just a second. So half of you are going to do that. The other half of you is just going to stay right on your same line.
which is now, I'm a little confused.
1, 2, 3, 4th line down.
4th line down is alto 1. Oh.
Mhm. And it's been that way the whole time. So it's not a change. Soprano ones, you take over the line that starts off with the shakas. That's soprano ones. And you can kind of tell this because it's the highest notes. All right, and soprano 2s are singing the 2nd line down. So you kind of have to jump from the top system down to the bottom, not the bottom, the one system below. Soprano ones, you also jump down.
And does that happen at the page start on measure 6?
No, it happens on I Thought That at the pickup to 63.
Oh, okay.
So So from the word eyes is, and then your next entrance after that, that's where you're gonna make the shift.
To the second line, right? So second.
Soprano
voices go on
twos,
the top
yes.
line and then the
Mhm.
second line, okay.
So you're just going up a third.
And where do we actually do the shift? Here in the
From,
middle of that.
so you're gonna sing eyes on the top line as you were before. You've been singing along on the top line, yeah?
Alright.
So you're seeing that word, eyes, oopsies. And then you jump down on I thought that, you jump down one measure, line, whatever.
Go down one system, or whatever it is, and up a third.
Yes. Right. You can do it.
So then, how long do we stay on that line?
I'll tell you in a second. Yeah. So I just wanna get everybody to know where you are moving to it, or whether you are not. Alto twos, nothing for you to do, you just stay on that line. So if half of the alto ones, you don't have to make any change either, you just stay on the same line. It's really half of the alto ones and the soprano ones and twos who you're just shifting down one line, okay?
But which of the alto ones are soprano?
I will tell you in just a minute. In just a minute.
I apologize.
That's all right. I thought I had marked that. Actually, let me go get my pencil so I can write this down. All right. I'm just doing this in no particular order, so. Let's have, well, since you're together, let's do it by who you're singing. So, Joni and Gina, you guys are gonna be the alto one Bs. So you're staying on the same line. So that was B, and who did I say? Gina. B, Joni, Gina. And let's see, alto ones, raise your hands, except for Joni and Gina, we'll just decide. All right, Rebecca and Lynn, you'll also be alto one Bs. Just write that down. B. Of course, the list I'm going is not in the same order as this. All right, and then everybody else who I didn't say, you are the ones, you are alto one As, and you'll go up. All right. At least you're sitting together for now. All right, let's see if we can negotiate that, if everybody knows where you're going. Oh, let me answer whosever question it was, when do we stop doing that? So, now you know where you're gonna make the shift, and you're going to stay in that until 76, yes, exactly so. And when you come to 76, you're back to the same old soprano 2, soprano 1, shake off people, alto 1, alto 2. And you have that little tag thing that'll give you the chance to kind of have a little break. It's not like you have to shift in the middle of a phrase. Yes?
Don't mean to break the tension here, but I have a question about alto two. I haven't practiced this with y'all yet.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's a E, there's a C, and she wants the lower note to be possible. For those of us who can't sound, can we hit that lower note over and over and over?
Don't worry about it. Just,
Can I do it on the E?
no, don't sing the octave. Just stay out and then come back in on the other.
Ellen,
That's a very good question. Yes?
I'm more thinking Sheka to that, the not alto part. Is that the complete third line down? Because I maybe stay on the same line, but now I've lost track
Yeah.
of where the switch, where I go.
So, because you're in alto 1A, so
Like
you go and again, and then you have you can just stop singing after you have and again, just stop singing. You have that whole measure of measure 76 to get back to your shake up.
Oh no, I meant at 62.
Okay.
I'm finishing Sheka in, and and now suddenly not sure which line.
Just come back in, yeah, you guys who are doing the shakas, don't try to come back in exactly, just work
No,
your way.
but I don't know if I'm doing alto or soprano.
You're doing the top line,
The very, oh.
the very top line.
Oh my goodness, that is gonna go
But
far.
it's gonna be too hard to do your last shaka and get that entrance, so just come in on you were gone or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, okay? All right, we've talked about this enough. Let's try it. My goodness. Way over the time I allotted for this piece. Not surprisingly. All right, let's get into this and see if if everybody knows where you're going in measure 62. Let's see what happens. Let's pick it up and pick up to 59 on the previous page. 1, 2, 3.
And I am sitting here, memories to teach me to see the beauty in the man through my
Here we go.
eyes. I found that you were gone. You are the voice that whispers
All right, how did we do? Did anybody get lost in the thing? So I know we probably got to go over some notes on that, right? But I just wanted you to get your eye used to, maybe draw a line or whatever if you're if you're a singer that needs to move things. Just draw a line from one staff, that's what it's called, to the next. All right, that's all we're going to do on that because we're way over time. But here's your homework. Take this, now you know what part you're singing. Go listen to the recording that's on the study page and see if you can negotiate through that change and follow along your part. Okay? And next time we'll work out what those actual notes are. All right.
And when we listen to a part on that, I'll ask my question when I understand myself.
Okay. There aren't part tracks on this. It's just all one recording. So just listen to the recording and see if you can follow along and kind of negotiate where you're going as you're listening. All right, moving on. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at Mother, Mother. And can you please find measure 39 rather, which is on the bottom of page 8. This is the place, alto, this is a high, middle, low. So the lows have a really big jump, which hopefully it's either not a page turn for you, or if it is a page turn, you've marked what your note on the top of 9 is at the bottom of 8. So, all right, here we go. 2, 3. 3. page which we've never read. One, two. One, two. Good. Just listen to, because we have not actually read this last page. I think we got up to the previous page, but we never. Just listen to it without the accompaniment. Allison's just gonna play your parts. And on these hums, let's just think back to our warm up and having a hum that has a lot of space. We actually might open it up to an N. We'll see. One, two. One, two, three, four. One, two. So, middles, your job, in between, in those two measures, your job is to hear that G that the high part is singing. Here's a G, and you have to think of a minor third from there. So if you're middle, your job is all while you're hearing that G, start listening for that B flat above it. So let's just have the high sing, not on a hum, but just on ooh, sing your G. Now while they're holding that, middle, sing your B flat. And now low, sing your D. And now highs go up to the C. So I just wanted you to think about it intervallically, all right? Now let's do it this way. Let's just go out of rhythm. Let's have the highs we'll go from G to F, back to G, and then we'll have the lows do their D, and then the two last notes, the dyad there, okay? So totally out of rhythm, so you don't need to look at your part. You don't need to look at the music, it's not gonna help you. And now lows. Now the last two notes. Okay, so that's what I want you to sort of hear in your mind. And there's stuff that's going on that, but I want you to hear just that. Let's do that same thing one more time, just so you hear that progression. Here we go. G to the F, back to the G, and to the D in the lows, and then the C and the B flat. Okay, so now we kind of hear that. Let's listen to that in tempo this time, but without the accompaniment. 1, 2. Just do on ooh instead of a hum so we can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, off, 2. So now does that start to make a little bit of sense? Yeah. Now let's put the piano back in and see if we can still remember those pitches, if we still have that in our ear. Okay, here we go. You will hear the G, it's in there, for folks who are on the high part. And so is the B flat. Do on ooh. Yeah, okay? So we'll get that. Let's back up a little bit. So this is another one, middles. I gave you an alternate pathway if and you might have forgotten that until you got to the bottom of 12 and then went, what? But if singing that G that you have in measure 63 and you have the G again in the next measure. If that's too high and you're a middle, here's your alternate halfway. Here's the alternate root. Bottom of 11, you're gonna jump down to the low part on the word today at pick up to 59. You're gonna go and you're gonna follow that low part all the way to the bottom of 12, and you have that D sharp as the last note, and then you're gonna go back to your middle part on measure 67. All right.
Can there be an alternate halfway for the high parts that the A is too high for?
Yeah, go down to the middle part. Yeah, go down to the middle part, because if there's a mass exodus from the middle part, we can probably use some in the middle. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's go back to pick up to measure 55. That is at the top of 11, right where the tempo change is. So highs and lows you have today, and then the middles come in 2 beats later. 2, 3. Measure 60, right at the top of 12, second measure, top of 12. So, when we get into this phrase, this next phrase on the bottom, are we going to be looking for bright vowels or tall open vowels? And we want to give ourselves every advantage, so we need to make sure that we're getting a good breath, and we're doing our little trick of rolling our shoulders back a little bit. We're giving ourselves every opportunity and open vowel to get that. All right, here we go. Highs, ready, and. Just listen to that, and would you play in octaves there, please, from its vastness, just so they can hear that.
Oh,
And
please, 'cause
3.
I went flat.
So it's very melodic, but the however is a little bit unexpected there, okay? Here we go. Let's sing it the octave down from its vastness to 3. Its Great. All right. Hold that in your head for 1 second. Let me hear the middle part, right, on mother, right in measure 60, middle of the measure. 1, 2. And so forth. We went a little bit more than I meant to go, yeah. So you also have a little bit of unexpected intervals right in that vastness and however. It doesn't go where you think it does. Let's do that. We won't go quite as far as we did just then, but let's do that again from mother in 60. 1, 2. Good, just that much. Let's see if we can put that with the middles and the highs. So right on highs, why don't you start from mother on the second beat, and then we have mother, mother. 1. what the low part is doing in that same place. Measure 60. 3 and 1, 2, 3, and make sure you are prepared for that octave jump there at the end of that line. Good, good, good. Your part is a little less tricky, I think, is a little more straightforward. Good. Let's see if we can put that on. Actually, before we do that, we kind of left off the last little bit there for the highs and the middles. Let's just take it right on the downbeat of 67, highs and middles. 3, breath. Yeah, and a little bit there we want to be aware that we're coming down in dynamic. So even though we're moving up on calls U, the tendency is to want to make that U louder, but we kind of have to work against that just a little bit. Good. Can I hear just the highs do that one more time? 3, and feel free to sing down the octave if you want. Ready, and yeah, I just wanted us to hear those little funky little intervals. Great. Let's go back to top of 11, right at the new tempo, and see if we can do that again. Negotiating those places where you're shifting part, and just listening more for those lines. 2, 3. The other parts finish that before you do. All right, great. Let's see. I would love to try this whole piece. It's not actually that long, it just seems long. Seems long because we aren't as familiar with it by the time we perform it. Yeah. So why don't you stand as you're able? Anyway, 1, 2. do 15. 3, 4, and 1. Low part. 1, 2, and 1. You thinking about that B flat, Middles? 2. Okay. So, we have some work to do on that, yeah, for sure. But I'm proud because I think that's the first time we've been able to keep going without just kind of like stopping and having to go back, right? So that's an accomplishment, and you can feel good about that. However, do take some time to listen to the recording. It's because this has never been performed before, but do take a listen to the recording. You will hear the piano and your parts. The parts that are the vocal parts are like in some kind of woodwind sort of sound. So it's a different sound than the piano. So you'll hear that. So do take a listen to that. At least even if you have a hard time following your part through with that, at least it will give you a sense of how the whole comes together, right? There's some really beautiful melodies that kind of come in through there. Hopefully you kind of heard those and noticed those, particularly in that alto too, or the low part, in that, I see you. That's so lovely. So, we can really enjoy that. And some of the parts Some of the places are a little thornier in terms of the harmonies, but you know, that's what contemporary music sounds like. So it's not, I don't think this is like overly weird. You know, so some weirder for sure. So keep working on it. I have a feeling that once we kind of get this, we'll really like it very much once we kind of get past the how does this go phase. So keep working on it. I was going to have us go through Sorrow No More, but we ended up using our time on the other two, and I'm glad we did. We needed to do that. So Sorrow No More is a little less complicated, although I think you know, the composer and I have been having some back and forth, and she did warn that her music seems easy, but is not as easy as it seems. So I do think we have some work to do, even though the notes themselves are not particularly difficult, but the phrasing and some of the things that she's asking us to do in terms of staggered breathing and all of that kind of thing, we do have some work to do on that. But not tonight. So with that, we are going to go for our break now. Do we have announcements?
Very few, very few, so that I can catch up on your. I have the job sheet back at the back again, and I think I sent out the older version, and then either today or late yesterday I sent out the updated version. So your name may not have been in there, and it should have been. So if you have questions about a job, just let me know, and I can point you to somebody who's already done the job. We have a couple of things that are really important to fill. One of them, Jean's not here. One of them is to have a new riser captain, because Jean will not be able to set up risers, and she'll be able to train whoever it is who needs to. Are you?
Doesn't sound complicated. Fundraising.
You're on. You haven't seen the risers yet. You have no idea. We won't have to.
It's a little.
Yeah.
I sit with it last time, so I can also help with.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Maybe we'll have to set up twice, so maybe you'll co-coordinators or co-captains or whatever. That's great. Thank you. And I keep forgetting to acknowledge who's brought snack, and I really wanted to do that. So who brought snack tonight? Oh, Raphael does everything here. And thank everybody who has brought snack before. What else? We don't have Edie here. All right.
Do you want to do a section of folks?
Well,
I
I
think
could, although everybody's scattered.
Well, you
but
could
that's
just
sort of
have them
still
all.
on. There they are.
Yeah, you could just,
They are.
I forget which ones still
We
had
could
the
do S2.
S2s.
And starting with the back row and going this way and then snaking this way and snaking that way.
So I think the only S2s in the back row are the three on this end.
Yeah.
Joyelle and then.
Hello, I'm Joy Ellen Snowgrove. This is my first semester as an S2, and I used to compose music, but never for chorus.
How did I not know that?
I don't know, it's never come up.
What?
What are we supposed to say? Just our name?
Oh.
Whatever, fact about yourself.
Something about you. No, do you want to tell everybody?
I'm Angela, and a fact.
You can make it up. We won't.
Alternative
I'll
fact.
just say my job. I'm a Montessori teacher, so yeah, the evenings. By this time, I'm ready to be in bed.
I'm Isabella. I'm not a Montessori teacher, but I really do love them at times. I like to crochet these days.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. Do we know S2?
No S2s.
Bunch of people are out, so.
All right. So
And
you
I'm
S2.
I know, I'll do one. Yes, I was gonna say, because also, and
No, we're doing S2s, but that's okay, Sarah.
Well, she's a former S2, so.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a soprano too. A fact is I accidentally became an orchid enthusiast. I like adopted people's dying orchids and I was like, I'll take care of them. Maybe I can bring them back to life. And now I have like flourishing orchid collection. And I'm like, what other kind of orchid can I get? So yeah, unexpected.
All right, ask
From what I've heard,
Sarah about
orchids
your
do that to people.
Are any blooming right now?
Yes, all three.
Okay, I got one blooming.
Yeah.
Have you been to Franklin Park Zoo? They have the orchid exhibit
I
going.
haven't.
One more week only, I think, till they read them.
Okay.
In the tropical rainforest, they have them.
Very cool.
Chris.
I am Chris, and my volunteer role is as the banker. So if you have a check, if you're paying your dues by check, and I had remembered my hobby, but I just forgot. I've been studying Tai Chi.
Oh, wow.
So I should be have great balance, but right now my knees are a little funny. And but I enjoy it, and I've been doing it for I think 8 years.
Oh, wow.
So if you have questions about Tai Chi, orchids,